Danelle, and welcome to the Common Dog Podcast. Today we have JB, our general manager. We have Allie and JDL, our guests, who also run our Structured Daycare. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, and we're also going to talk about reactivity on leash with all kinds of stories that we're going to share with you. Our dog guests today are JDL's dogs. If we can get either one of them to come over. Right now they're wrestling. Hound, Ghost, come here. Yeah.
Oh man. Sorry guys. This is the
I love that. Oh man. Ghost. Hi bud. Come here. Say hi.
He's so excited.
Well, now what is Ghost?
Ghost is a pit bull mix of some kind.
How old is he?
He's 7. Yeah, 7 years old.
About 7?
Mm-hmm.
And where did you get him?
I got him from Last Hope Canine.
Aw. And you got him when you was a puppy, or
2.
you? Oh, so he was already, kind of an adult dog. Oh, bud, yes. And he does what here? He goes in daycare, right? And you do you ever bring him into structure?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Usually around the end of the day, I do structure with him. Sometimes.
I'm gonna stand
yesterday
right like
he just jumped on top of the maze that you had set up.
did he demolish the maze?
All you hear in the background is, oh, Ghost.
Sometimes he's my vacuum cleaner. He picks up all the drop treats.
Well, he looks like he's in really good shape. So obviously you bring him here and he gets exercise just from doing structured daycare and being in enrichment daycare and, bebopping around and being Ghost. Do you do stuff outside of here with him?
We go on hikes constantly.
Yeah.
Off leash hikes.
So more like drive somewhere and go up a mountain hike, or so there's not a lot of other dogs around, or he doesn't care. He's just like,
even if they are, I'll just throw him into a heel.
Yeah.
And we walk right by them.
So he's really well trained. One of our trainers. That's a really well trained dog. Nice. And who's this other guy? This is Hound.
This is Hound.
Tell me about him.
An American band dog. So he is half South African Boerboel and half American Bulldog.
Which is really big dogs combined, right? And but he's like a gentle giant. He's super chill. Hound, hey buddy, hey Hound, hi honey, come here, say hi.
Okay.
Yeah, Jojo, good boy. Hello. Yes, hello, buddy. You need to look at the camera. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, look at the camera. So very, very big boy. And how old is Hound?
He is going on 9 right now.
Wow, you'd never know it,
No.
especially the way they were just like wrestling.
Yeah.
Like
he
WWE.
keeps him young.
Yeah, Hound keeps him going, even though he's 7.
I'm saying Ghost keeps him young.
Right. Yeah, but Ghost isn't a baby. He's 7 years old. So 9 and 7, and they're still going crazy. And where did you get Hound?
I got him when I worked at a different daycare in Boston.
Yeah.
And he was actually a client.
And they put him up for adoption.
Yeah, he wasn't getting on too well with their baby, and they were like, "Oh, can't keep him." So,
right.
if any of your staff would like him, and I was already looking for a second dog, I scooped him up immediately.
And he was how old when you got him?
4.
4. So, and these guys bonded really well. Did you have to do anything special, or
Nope.
did they just take to each other like Dr. Water?
Like they've always known each other.
Oh, that's really cool. That's nice. So you must live in a really, really big place for these huge dogs.
Not really.
There's a little sarcasm. So, not necessarily apartment dogs, but bigger hound type, bulldog type. They sleep a lot, right? They have these bursts of energy, and like they just did, they were crazy and wrestling and being nutballs, and then sleep.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So having a smaller space isn't too terribly difficult as long as you can get out and get them some exercise.
We're constantly doing
and
stuff.
then have a fabulous place where you can take them to structured daycare and enrichment daycare, so on and so
Absolutely.
forth. Awesome. Okay. And they're your only 2 dogs, right? Gotcha. And you have a dog.
I do.
Emily, you have Pearl.
I have Pearl.
Was also a dog that came up for adoption here. And you adopted her, and you have another dog. You have a second dog.
I do. We're a family dog, but I have a Chihuahua named Wyler.
But they get along?
They get along. There's definitely
tension.
There's a little tension. Yeah. She has some resource guarding issues. Yes.
Yeah.
Specifically with food or her crate.
Yep.
So if he is around those things, then we have to be a little bit more vigilant. But
Gotcha.
If they're just in a space together, they're fine. She will try and play with him.
Gotcha.
And he will run around, and they can get along.
So JD, how long have you been with the common dog?
A little over 2 years.
A little over 2 years. Wow. I would think it's longer than that. You've achieved quite a bit in the shorter time that you've been here.
We started the same
week,
right? We came from the same other daycare.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys, learned a whole lot in a relatively short period of time, because you went from canine coaches working in the indoor park and working with the dogs that are here for enrichment daycare to being the driving force really behind our structured daycare program, because the two of you run it. So structured daycare, we started not last year, but the year before, at the end of 2024.
Yeah, so it hasn't even been 2 years.
Hasn't even been 2 years.
Like a year and a half.
Right. Well, they were instrumental in when you and I were talking about this, and we were thinking, well, who are we? We've got to have trainers to do this, and it's really hard to find trainers outside of your own little bubble, right? And it's like anything in terms of an industry. You get 6 trainers in a room, and all 6 of them are going to disagree on how to train the dog. So I've always found it was easier for me, just being kind of selfish too, in that I want to train the people who are going to train with me, because while you're going to have your own way of doing things, and you're going to have your own way of doing things, and you and I certainly differ in terms of that, the primary approach to training is the same. We're not going to get in some knockdown drag out fight over how to train a dog. So but you both, having started at the same time, you both started training. We started to teach you. You started to shadow us in terms of training, and from that was born the structured daycare program.
Right, because it was the best fit for what they needed to get
and their interests,
right, and get comfortable with their leash handling skills.
Right.
And you talk about, you ever hear the 10,000 hour rule? You ever heard about that?
I don't think so.
It's you master something
hours?
if you've done something for 10,000 hours.
How would anyone count that? That's
a lot to think of. I do 40 hours a week, right? And maybe some of that is training and half of it isn't. And you can factor that in some direction.
That's all.
But they talk about, when I read about it, they talk about violinists and pianists and stuff like that. The people who are masters at that craft have touched the keys or touched the instrument 10,000 hours. So getting to be masterful in this industry means you touch a lot of dogs.
Yeah, well, and that's the different thing in terms of working in a facility that does daycare and boarding versus just a training facility. We have on average 100 dogs a day. So you guys get to touch all kinds of dogs from all different walks of life, all different breeds, dogs that are experiencing all kinds of different things. So, and I think that is supremely helpful in learning how to become a trainer for pets, right? Because where else could you run into so many dogs that you get to work with on any given day, right? So our focus today is more about reactivity, and that is something that in Structured Daycare you guys work with a lot. We have a calendar. We should probably have it up, but we have a calendar that every month you guys kind of come up with, what are we focusing on this day? And it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like this day we're going to do this, and this day we're going to do these things, and this day we're going to do these things. And I know that we focus a lot on reactivity because it is something that our clients struggle with a lot. With, not all of our clients, but
I would say
a large number of our clients struggle with their dog having reactivity on leash. My dog is no exception.
Raise your hand if you have a reactive
dog. I have a reactive dog, right? I have a reactive dog. So Eris, no. But Rhea, my Mal, she's very reactive. So, and that's something that you guys work a lot on in Structured Daycare. And it's something that we work a lot with when we're talking to clients and we're having our discovery meeting, talking about what their goals are, what they're experiencing with their dog, how we might be able to help them. Reactivity is huge, right?
It's like probably 75%, I'd say at least.
Well, and then you can just stand in the lobby in the morning and see, the 6, 8, 10 people who are patiently waiting for their dog to be led back into daycare. A lot of those dogs are reactive, and it's really cool that we get the opportunity to literally just bop into the lobby and go, if you just loosen up on that leash a little bit, which seems counterintuitive, right? I mean, was that sort of surprising to you guys when you started working with dogs? Maybe not necessarily here, but when you started, doing leash work and even working with your own dog, tension on the leash only makes reactivity worse.
It was a surprise to me because I was very much the person that would wrap the leash around.
Yeah.
Super tight.
Because you have huge dogs. You're nervous. You're like, oh, they
Yep.
can't get away from me, or bad things might happen.
But then once it was broken down and explained to me, it made total sense.
And it works, right? Yeah. Completely works. So reactivity, in a nutshell, is basically your dog freaking out on the end of the leash.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Maybe they freak out over ducks, or maybe they freak out over kids running by, like my Rhea. Oh,
there's happy reactivity.
There's happy reactivity where they won't listen to you because they really want to go play with that other dog. But usually we're talking about the kind of reactivity where you're worried if that dog gets too close to your dog or vice versa, that there's going to be a fight. And one of the things that we first teach when we first started working with you guys, when I first started working with you, it was all leash work, right? It's all in the hands, right? Soft hands, a loose leash. It's all leash work. Right. And that's really what it is, is 90% of reactivity is how you react with the leash. And then it's your body language, your voice, what audibles are you using, so on and so forth. So, but with reactivity, you were surprised that this wasn't the answer, muscling your way through it. Was that kind of the same thing with you?
Yeah, when I grew up, I had a very reactive German Shepherd, and I was very much the same way with him, where he was on a harness, and I would always just hold him back.
So he could pull you even further.
Exactly. My grandma used to tell me,
and easier.
Use a tree as leverage, and he was just
a tree.
This was when I was 11, 12.
Yeah.
And I still had to walk him. And so thinking back on that experience and all
the stuff you did wrong.
Exactly. It does make sense. He was pushing because we were pulling him back so much.
Yeah. So that begs the question, not just reactivity, but as trainers now, right? I mean, you have your little name tag. It says trainer, right? What was the most surprising thing about training when you first started? Was it that a loose leash solves most of your problems, or what? For me, that honestly, was kind of so ingrained with me with working with horses since I was a little kid that just sort of lended itself to working with dogs. You can't restrain a 1,200-pound horse. They're just going to drag you down the path. So that made perfect sense to me when I started working with dogs. But what was the most surprising thing in terms of training and working with a dog where you were like, wow, I'm surprised by that?
I think the most surprising thing working here with dogs that are not my own was how different a dog could be with their owner versus with another person, with another trainer.
Right.
It can sometimes be night and day.
Right.
And I'd only ever worked with my own dogs before, so that relationship was already there. And
that's a perfect point.
But I think that was the biggest thing.
Right. Yeah. So somebody comes in with their dog is going crazy on the end of the leash. You take the leash away from the owner and start walking towards the park, and it's a different dog. I mean, we experience that all the time with dogs that we're training that come to us for training. But even just the random act of you being a trainer, you knowing what tension to put on the leash, you knowing your body language, how to approach the dog, how to apply spatial pressure, all those things that are now becoming real muscle memory, the 10,000 hours or whatever. That's becoming muscle memory for you. Whereas owners, they're not trainers. This isn't their job. So they go back to oh no, I have to, control Fluffy, or Fluffy's going to drag me, down the road.
Yeah.
So it's really shocking how when you can take a dog away from an owner and it's like night and day, completely different dog.
The other thing with that too, that kind of comes along with it, is you don't have any emotions invested in that dog. And you do to some extent, if certain dogs misbehave, I'm like, come on, man.
What was all that training about?
We've done this before. What are you doing?
You know better.
But you're not, if my dog reacts a certain type of way, I am very much take it personally.
It's
and I try
to train your dog
really hard not to do so. But that's similar.
My dog's better for you.
Right.
Your dog's better for me.
My dog.
But not in every situation, though. Your dog listens to you, but
Allie was about ready to quit her job the other day because Alana. I watched the footage and you're just
It was only the barking.
That's the whole thing.
That is
That's the only thing she does wrong.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. So what about you? What was kind of, as a trainer, learning to become a trainer, what was surprising, or even just working here with dogs, you were like, wow.
The most surprising thing was realizing how much my mood affects my dogs or dogs that I'm training in general.
Yeah. Yep.
If I find myself days when I'm like super frustrated or mad, they're way more reactive.
Yep.
On days where I'm in a good mood, I'm nice and calm, they walk perfectly on leash.
Yep.
They don't look at anyone or anything like that.
So I'm going to tell you a little secret, and it's not just dogs. It's every carbon-based life form on the planet reacts to your mood, right? So when mom is, what's the phrase, when mom's unhappy, the
whole house
is unhappy,
unhappy,
right?
Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life, like, those kinds of things. It always refers back to women, which I think it's sort of odd, but I'm sorry, baby.
It's okay. I love you anyway.
But yeah, it's a, I can't personally train a dog if I'm really upset. I have to put it down. I cannot find the patience and be able to make sure I project that through the leash. Now sometimes you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Let's say you're out working, and we went to Boston to work some dogs in the common or whatever. It's a beautiful summer day, and they're just going crazy, making me mad. Like, oh my gosh, this, I'm frustrated. That's why I always say end your training on a good note, because it helps you, right? It helps the dog. It doesn't leave that signature on you, right? It's like, okay, well, let's just end it on a good note. It'll be okay. It's fine. Take a breath. Oh, let's go eat.
I have a question for you guys. What's your favorite part of training in structured, probably in general, but if it's in structured daycare too?
I feel like it is almost that night and day thing, being able to show owners.
Hey, Hound, what are you doing? Where are you going there, bud? Literally trying to dig through the floor.
Being able to show owners what their dog is capable of, I find really rewarding, because I know that we've had experiences here with people who they're not getting the most out of their dog that I think they could be. They kind of let their dog run their life.
Right.
And it's a part of their family, and I think I get that to an extent, but also like,
it creates a lot of stress for them
and for the dog.
Yeah.
So what if you could still have that family member, but then you both could be living like a higher quality,
better
of
life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we do what we do.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's literally why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Because everybody gets a dog because they think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
This is going to be so fun. I'm going to be able to bring my dog everywhere. Like when I got my first Malinois, I was like, I am the greatest trainer. She's going to be so awesome. She's going to be my walking resume. Wow. That did not quite work out as I had intended.
She's well trained.
She's just insane.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's, we literally have a dog right now that we've only been working with a day, and I am already so happy with how things are progressing. But to that same point, I'm so sad that this poor dog has had to live in this bubble of anxiety because not everybody knows what we know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have a job, right? Is to be able to impart our knowledge and help. And that's really kind of why I got away from when I first started out with protection. I find this so rewarding.
Yeah.
Not that protection wasn't, but I get to help people keep their dogs.
Yeah.
I get to help people enjoy their dogs, and I get to help dogs enjoy their lives. And to me, that is unbelievably rewarding. I mean, like, I've already cried over the dog that's in my office in the last 24 hours. I was telling John, my husband, last night, and I'm like, it's such night and day, this dog, and he's older. And I'm like, I can't help but feel bad that he's had such anxiety unnecessarily for so long, just because I wish I could just shout it from the mountaintops. Like, hey, here's some really basic stuff you can do if your dog has serious separation anxiety and you're struggling. That's, to your point, it's a lot.
I also feel bad for the owners too, because they don't know another way of living with their dog.
Right.
And also it decreases their quality of life too. It's
Right.
like for everyone in the house. So
Right.
it's, you know,
Like, oh, I can't go anywhere this
Yeah, you can't
weekend
go
because I
out.
can't get anybody to take my dog
Right.
because he's destructive, or I can't send him
Nobody else
somewhere
can take
because
him, yeah.
no one is able to take him, or you can't take him on walks because you have to go at 4 a.m. or 11 o'clock at night because he's so reactive.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we have literally, you guys know this, we've had clients who don't walk their dog unless
yeah.
it's the wee hours
4
of
a.m.
the morning.
Yeah.
4 a.m., 11 p.m.
Yeah, and it's real. It's a real struggle. That's so
I
many
had to do that with
clients.
them,
Really?
with my own dogs. Yeah.
Wow. So you were able to take a lot from what you learned working here.
Mhm.
I don't know how much you did at the last place that you worked, but not a lot of training.
No,
focused
these
there.
two are
No.
like totally different than they were.
Well, it
a
took
year and a
Hound
half
forever
ago.
to feel comfortable coming up to me for a long time, and I
Yeah.
was like, "That's cool. You don't have to come over. No big deal. Not like you're a really big boy. I don't need you upset in my face." But that's great that you were actually able to better your quality of life and their quality of life and your relationship with them exponentially
Mhm.
because of just these little things. Wouldn't you call them kind of little things? Didn't you kind of go, wow, that's common sense? But then
little things now, but
Yeah.
right,
huge things in the long run.
makes big, big, big difference. And you're like, just that small tweak of less tension,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Remember, how I always used to say, take a breath, right? Concrete feet, take a breath.
Stop.
Don't stand still.
Stop talking to the dog. while you're
Stop
to the
talking.
dog.
Yeah.
Like there's probably, if we could write a 5-page book and just like this, third page, like
This.
this
Oh,
is
yeah.
it, like 5 things. If you just either started doing this or stopped doing that, maybe we should.
Maybe
We should just make this book. We should do
That's
it.
funny.
But it makes a huge difference, right? Huge, huge difference. And the reactivity, I think, is the one thing that people struggle with. I would say the most in terms of being a dog owner in an urban environment.
Yeah.
People don't have as much problem with that if you live up in the boonies
Mhm.
where I do. I mean, we've all got yards, dog, I can go for a walk around my neighborhood and not run into anyone.
Yeah.
So reactivity for squirrels, or
Yeah.
something along those lines. But it's a lot harder when you're in an urban environment because it's just moment after moment after moment, right? It kind of never ends.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's so condensed. And
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
dogs.
I mean,
people.
separation anxiety, I think, is right there, neck and neck, with what people
yeah.
struggle with
Especially
right now.
post-COVID.
All the COVID
All the
dogs,
work from
right?
home.
And the people
Yeah.
working from home.
Right. The dog has constant 24-hour access to you.
Yeah.
They never learn to stand on their own 4 paws. But reactivity is huge, and I know that when I don't know, as trainers, you probably do it all the time. But when you're driving home, or you're walking your own dog somewhere, and you see someone really struggling with your dog, I'm just like, loosen your leash,
You know what's
get
the
off
best,
the harness.
You know what's the best? And I'll say the dog's name because she'll be fine with me saying this story because it's a wonderful client, Harry.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was driving down the street and I was like, wow, that dog's like really nice on leash. Look at what they're doing with him.
How's that butt?
And then I went, that's Harry. And I
What a well-trained dog.
I go, Harry. And they're like, oh my God, JB. He's doing so great. You're doing so great. I think I had their lesson like a week prior.
Yeah.
And it was just so nice to see like they were doing exactly what I told them to the T. And he was doing wonderful.
That's nice.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know you guys have to look at
all the
other
time.
people and be like, yeah, you're doing
All
it
the time.
wrong. You're
Yeah.
doing it wrong. Oh, how's that harness working for you?
Trying not
As
to
you're
do
getting dragged down the road.
Actually, like person
Yeah.
at the dog park or something.
Yep. Yeah. So structured daycare has just grown exponentially. That is predominantly what you guys do all day. For the 40 hours that you're here a week, is you're really, you do a little bit of desk, you do a little bit of park, both of you, but predominantly you guys are working in our structured daycare program. So when you work reactivity, part of it is I've seen you bring the dog up to the lobby.
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit about, probably what's the hardest part of that, bringing a dog that you're working in structured daycare up into the lobby with dogs either coming or going. What's the hardest part for you in terms of that? Is it something where you've got a dog and you know they're really going to be reactive, and you have all these other people either waiting to drop off their dog or waiting to pick up a dog? And is it a fear that something's going to go sideways, or are you uncomfortable because you've got all those eyes on you watching you? What is the? I know for me, my fear is that one of the clients is going to have their own dog on a leash and they're not going to be able to control their dog, and a fight's going to break out. And I hear I've got, a lobby full of dogs and two dogs that I'm having to control. But the flip side of that is I'm like, I've got nothing but support here. Why would this, don't worry about that. Don't I have to tell myself, don't stress, relax,
That's kind of like a small fear of mine, but like the more, I wouldn't say it's a fear, but the more like
concern
is the dog is not going to react.
That's what I was going to
That,
say.
like I can't get them to react because then I have nothing to correct or nothing to nowhere to guide the dog.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they already know.
In fairness, though, they're getting a good rep in where they're not reacting in the lobby.
And they still get the praise when they don't react and pitch to me.
Right. Yeah. Well, you can always bring Rhea down the lobby. She will react every time without fail. No questions asked. So Structured Daycare is growing, right? We've got more and more dogs. Now you guys are basically, full-time doing Structured Daycare. So how many dogs are you working a day?
I think usually about 20.
About 20 dogs a day.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of dogs. So you gotta have really good time management, working with these dogs that you have to work in a lot of time. It's usually between the hours of like 10 and 2 or 9 and 3, depending on how many dogs you have.
Oh no, now it's like since we were able to get them full time on there, it's like 9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a lot. It's got to be. I know when I'm working dogs, it's just physically and mentally draining. That's a lot. But you've got to be really good at kind of figuring out timing wise how to structure things. And this is their program. Like you guys came up with it. You guys have tweaked it. So, but how do you
I go
structure
down there,
your
I have
day?
no idea what the heck I'm doing.
We break the whole big group of 20 up into smaller groups, so we can focus on them for about 3 to 4 hours at a time per little group. That way everyone can get more individual time with the trainer.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you work together? Or are you usually working one dog individually? Like, do you ever work the same dog together, or do you work 2 dogs together? Or
on days when we're scheduled together, if it's like a reactivity day, it kind of works out even better because one of us will be working one dog,
right,
and then the other one can get closer, get further, be like, hey, I'm gonna walk really close to you.
Right.
We can collaborate a bit more so than on like other activities.
Right.
Yeah.
So our goal is with reactivity is ultimately for the owner to be able to walk the dog on leash and have them not drag them down the road to get to whatever it is they were overreacting to. So that's when you guys came up with it's like a
parent teacher conference.
Yeah, it's like a parent teacher conference, but it's a parent teacher conference. Teacher conference. So you guys are going to be able to impart your knowledge of what it is that you do and their particular dog, best practices, and how they can reach their goals with having a conference with one of the trainers. That
and
just
it's in
started,
a class.
right?
Yeah, it's in a class setting, so there'll be multiple dogs and people, so that it's easier to practice those things with multiple, like the actual distractions that you need in front of you.
Cool. So I want to sit on some of those.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited.
It's sort of like when the board and train go home kind of thing. When we do a board and train, or we do an in-home.
Bridging the gap.
Yeah. So you get to learn, you get to teach, impart your wisdom of what you, especially with that dog, not just dogs in particular, but their dog, because every dog's an individual. Every dog has to be handled slightly differently, tweaked a little different ways. Some dogs respond better to certain things. Some dogs you can give too much praise to, and they just lose their mind. And other dogs, if you just a little snap or a little side glance, they're like, oh, okay, I'll get right in line.
Well, I know when we were doing the the indoor park stuff with on Sundays over the winter, you guys would come in and be like, do you know your dog knows how to do this? And they'd be like, what?
That was great.
Are you kidding me? Like, we took, I don't know how many people in the back be like, your dog can walk on a treadmill here. Like, show them how to do it. Like, So I think people don't know sometimes what all of their dogs know from
Well, they don't-
going
yeah.
regularly to Structured,
Right.
you know.
They don't know what their dog maybe has learned here just because they haven't had the opportunity to actually sit down with the trainer. Sweet pea, what you doing?
The report cards give a good idea.
The report cards help, but yeah,
Mhm.
being able to sit down and is it an hour class? Yeah.
It's an hour class.
So that would be really informative to, and I mean, I know you guys work with my dog, so, and then I get the report of, well, you know, she was really good on the treadmill, but she really didn't want to be in a crate.
I've recently started shoving poor Lana, or pour them with Lana. I don't have any sympathy for Lana, but I came down the stairs and I was like checking the board to say like it was like what strengths every dog had, and Lana was loud with a frowny face.
Her strength is loudness.
I was like, fair enough, that is a strength. It's definitely
True.
there.
It's very true. So, well, what should be our tip today based on reactivity?
I would say
I think we should go back to leash pressure,
Yeah.
right? The just like training 101.
practice walking your dog back and forth in a like 20 to 30 foot line and just get reps in. You don't have to go far. You don't have to go long. You just have to have
Loose
a
leash.
very good repetition.
Yep, loose leash,
Of
loose
leash work.
Yep, because that
And
tension.
every walk is a training opportunity.
It is.
Yeah.
Have that mindset about you.
Yep.
Mhm.
Loose leash and practice, and it doesn't have to be a big space.
No.
It can be 15 feet just walking back and forth.
Yeah. And if
Working your dog.
yeah, my biggest thing I always tell people is once your dog has had a reaction, do that back and forth all over again and reset your dog.
Yep.
It's kind of like meditation where you're just like doing the
We're gonna work through
same
it.
thing
Yep.
over and over again.
And when they do react, our simple term is leave it. Leave it. Give them the opportunity to look at you, say, let's go, right?
Mhm.
Leave it, let's go. And you only go 10 feet in the other direction, then you turn around, go back. And it really makes such a huge difference. Right? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on our podcast today. I'm sure there'll be more opportunities for that. And to Hound, and I don't know where Ghost went.
He's sitting over there.
Sitting over there. So anyway, thank you guys so much. We'll see you again next week.